Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Disco Elysium. In today's episode, I am probably going to go talk to Joyce Messier again. So it's quite late at night at this point. I don't know how much that changes the world around me. I'm interested to see if Kuno's still up here throwing rocks at the corpse. If so, he's been doing it all day. Yep, he's still there. It's fine. The fact that Kuno's still there makes me think that the others are probably all in similar positions. Is this girl... The girl isn't at the front of her shop anymore, so I guess the shop is closed? Yep. The shop is now closed. I do want to go talk to Joyce if I can, though. Because at the end of the last episode, we had a, I don't know if epiphany is the correct word, but we remembered, also, I never went through this door. I don't think. We thought about the idea of what we're actually suffering, which is Jamais Vu, which is the opposite of deja vu, where you can't remember anything.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I've got some questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
That's very hard to do. What is reach for some fundamental?
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
Interesting.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Interesting. Elysium, the world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
Interesting. I don't feel like I have the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
Huh. How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
What shape is the world then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
Interesting.
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
Huh.
A cold fear seeps into you.
The pale, and what do you mean corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here.
Interesting.
But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't really feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
Huh.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
You said pale. What is pale?
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
Okay then.
The lieutenant glances at you from the corner of his eye. This is not going to happen with the lieutenant present, unless you can convince him to step aside.
Huh. Ask for Kim to step away while you discuss the Pale.
Is what you want to do. But should you? He expressly stated you shouldn't hear about it. What if it renders you mad? Or catatonic? Or makes you lose your memory again?
Seems unlikely.
Yes?
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance.
Yes?
I think you should know that I can't remember anything.
No response. He just arches his brow. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
I feel like I must repeat this. I don't remember anything. There was a heavy drinking involved.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
But I'm completely lacking in basic information about even this organization we're in. Can you help me?
Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation.
Alright, fine.
Focus on other people's troubles, not your own. That is a relief.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
Nothing. Alright, so it is past 9 p.m, so theoretically
Yes.
I can talk to him. I want to talk about you.
Me?
Yes, you.
I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation.
We'll work better together if we have some more rapport.
That's a fair point. Alright, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know?
Do you ever talk with yourself?
What do you mean?
You know, when you're thinking, do you ever have conversations with, like, your brain?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
The lieutenant's
Interesting.
conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary. The lieutenant is a police officer of the old school. His concerns are material and extrinsic. But this isn't an old school case.
you're one of the old school detectives, not respectfully.
So what? That makes you the new school? God spare us. For real detective work, nothing beats a good notebook by your side.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. We all have our different mediums. His is written. You're super lucid, yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to your nervous system. You're special.
You're wearing glasses.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Glasses are cool, I guess.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
You could use a good, normal pair yourself.
I don't want to come across as racist, but you don't look like other people around here.
That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic.
What is Seoul?
It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
You're only making it sound uninteresting. I still want to know more about Seoul.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
A point of pride to him.
Huh. Interesting. Tell me a secret about yourself.
No.
Oh, okay.
The lieutenant nods.
That's all for now.
Good. Let's change the subject.
You seem to be following me.
Excuse me?
Nothing, just an
You
observation.
have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
What do you mean distinctive?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically.
How's that?
They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Huh. Okay then.
He simply nods. Passing along frivolous interdepartmental stereotypes is not usually his oeuvre. He regrets bringing it up.
Tell me about the case again.
What do you want to know?
Would you say this is a mysterious case?
No, it's not a particularly mysterious case.
Why not?
The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that.
White male in his 40s. What more do you need?
I'm relieved that you agree. Anyhow, let's get back to the case. Was there anything else you wanted to know?
Literally anything. I can't remember a single thing.
Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit.
A young woman told me a mercenary has been hanged and the manager thinks he was a union that did it, that's all.
Then you are not that far behind, actually. Do you want me to brief you?
Brief, yes, that sounds good.
3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute.
Huh. Why didn't we know anything about the caller?
They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex.
Why hide themselves?
There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that.
Huh. The RCM is... Well, I know what the RCM is. Of course, yes, I understand everything now.
Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and arrest the killer.
Can we go over the preliminary info again?
You mean like a brief? Do you want me to brief you
No,
again?
wing it.
There's no reason to wing anything. If you didn't get the brief, that's okay. I did. 3 days ago, the RCM emergencies desk received a
Alright,
report.
so we already
But
got
during
this.
that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching.
This
There
is
an
actually a good
ongoing
question. Why
labor
didn't the briefing
dispute
say who the
between
victim
A
was?
security guard or worker of some sort, hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth. They didn't identify. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM.
Our
in
job here
what
is to find the
that's
killer.
right.
All I need
Good.
to know. Alright, I was just interested in that kind of information. Alright, it's now 10 o'clock. Presumably I can now sleep. Oh.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Yep, my hostel room calls.
We can pick up where we left off tomorrow morning. Yes?
So 10 o'clock is when you sleep. I thought it was 9 o'clock. I got the time wrong. But it is it is snowing, so it's not surprising that it's incredibly cold here. That guy could die being out here in this middle of the night. I've just been distracted by this. I thought I came down and searched all this, but I guess not. Distant squall of seabirds. Splatter of bullet holes lines the wall. From a gunship, I guess? Interesting. Huh, weird. I guess that was a callback to the drunk guy, I guess. Alright, let's go sleep, shall we? And I think that's probably going to be the end of the episode. It's a relatively short episode. But I think I'm fine with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to...
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe.
Okay,
And
sweet.
besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Alright, let's go. This is cool. I wanted to do this anyway.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Huh, weird.
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
So what are our powers exactly, the RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station.
Okay.
Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Only 1,000, why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part
Right.
in the economic structure of Revachol.
Makes sense. Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
How can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
That makes sense, I guess. And if someone resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
So if I kill someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness.
Makes sense.
Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
Makes sense. And who makes all these rules?
The coalition government, and the
Okay.
moral intern more broadly.
Makes sense.
The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Interesting. Let's say it was the citizens of Revachol.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern Lysis has the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Fair enough.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's
I
been
love
a
my
long
brain.
and eventful day.
The Morale Intern, what is that?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects.
Interesting.
They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Interesting. What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Uh-huh.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous. Something even a little feminine. But in a strict manner.
God damn. All parts of my brain coming in there, eh? Who is Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
It is relatively abstract. What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It's an interesting opinion. Ironically, an interesting opinion. I have an opinion about the Moralitan.
Do you?
Lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. I'm probably halfway between both of these. They've done an awful job here. Have you seen this place? This isn't humanism.
We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
Yeah, vigilantes do sound bad.
Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez. Most of them, at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
How do you think today went?
Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. So we didn't even inspect the body.
Yeah.
But we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great.
Sorry, I couldn't do more today. I'm just not a very good cop, am I?
We're both doing our best under the circumstances. Just don't drink tonight, please. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow.
Indeed.
We tried to interview the Wild Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Is this commenting on the fact that I use shift and actually run
I
places?
have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
I don't like to waste time, you know? My mind moves fast, the rest has to try and keep up.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those heels. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
Say nothing, just look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag.
Interesting.
This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
Interesting.
An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuraga's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. Two glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
I tend to agree. Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Cool. So that didn't end up being a short episode because we had that big conversation with Kim, which is useful. I wonder if you do that at the end of every day, potentially. Yep, see you in the morning.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Crawl in.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come.
That's unfortunate.
And then sleep doesn't come.
But I want to sleep.
Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
Why?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Roll over to the other side.
It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
No more thoughts. Fall asleep
Your
now.
breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Whoa, we're now in a dream. Okay, so I'm actually gonna, as suspenseful as this is, I'm actually gonna cut now and we'll be back. next episode where we're going to go through this dream. I should have thought about this. Half this game is just me, more than 3/4 of this game is me just talking to myself in my head. Obviously, my dream is going to be playable. But that's going to be next time. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, where we're going to explore our own brain and actually walk around in our own brain. That's interesting. Whew. See you next time, guys.